Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 10.
Students will be heading to school around the valley tomorrow morning. The January weather is definitely taking over.
Temps are going to be plummeting overnight, sending us into the negative territory. Hutch, what can those kiddos expect at the bus stop early tomorrow?
Well, it is going to be very frigid. Enough wind and cold temperatures to cause dangerous wind chills out there. Certainly one morning that you'll want to bundle up. Now, as we head to bed tonight, the winds remain gusty down in the southern valley, starting to taper off a little bit. But with temperatures as cold as they are, it won't take long for some pretty nasty wind chills to develop. Our northern counties in a wind chill advisory overnight tonight into the morning. Skies are clearing, but the wind still blowing some snow around here in the southern valley. With wind chills already in the 20s below zero up north, we're close to 20 below here in Fargo. As to what it feels like on exposed skin. Air temperatures will be plummeting down into the single digits below zero, even teens below zero for the northern valley by morning with some dangerous wind chills. So that's how we start out our day, and it doesn't look like we will warm up for some time as well. Have details on that, and the center of this cold air mass that's heading our way will not get here until the weekend. We'll tell you what you can expect for that here in a few minutes.
We're all going to need to bundle up.
Good idea.
All right, thanks. 13 states have enacted what's called the red flag law across the United States, enabling law enforcement and family members to petition a judge to remove guns from an individual they believe presents a threat.
Valley News Team's Katie Opperly talked to state representatives about why they want North Dakota to become the next state to be protected by red flag laws.
North Dakota State Representative Carla Rose Hansen is introducing what is known as red flag laws to the state in a newly proposed bill.
In North Dakota, we're calling it public safety protection orders. And this type of legislation is really meant to save lives by temporarily keeping firearms out of the hands of people who are a danger to themselves or others.
And the bill describes doing this by allowing law enforcement the ability to obtain a search warrant and take the firearms away if the person is deemed dangerous.
And there is strong due process at every step of the way. And that means that the court is involved at every step.
She says that different situations would be assessed to see if this type of action is needed, but she sees it helping primarily in 4 different circumstances: suicide prevention, school safety to help prevent tragedies, a tool for families if someone suffers from Alzheimer's, and protecting victims and law enforcement officers when responding to a domestic violence situation, similar to the situation of a Fargo police officer who was shot and killed while responding to a domestic disturbance call.
I often think of Officer Mosier in Fargo as an example of that. The situation that he was involved in, the person was waiting for behavioral health services.
Sponsors of the bill say they looked at several similar bills in other states to create something that fits North Dakota's needs.
This is a little bit like taking the keys away from, someone that's been drinking too much. You need to sometimes take the keys away and let the situation settle down.
The red flag laws have faced criticism as some feel this is intrusive or too far. But supporters of the bill say this is all to save lives. And if one life can be saved, then it's worth it. In Fargo, Katie Opperly, Valley News Live.
The red flag laws have been attributed to helping other communities stay safe, and sponsors of the bill are hoping for the same results. Grand Forks police are asking for your help finding a sex offender. They say Jordan Thomas Granger failed to register as a sexual offender and has not contacted his probation officer as required. There's an active warrant for his arrest, and Granger is believed to be in the Grand Forks area. If you have any information, you can contact police at 787-8000.
Native American law enforcement and tribal members are urging the House Human Services Committee in North Dakota to move forward on a bill to help missing and murdered Indigenous people. Fargo Representative Ruth Buffalo introduced 2 bills addressing these issues. The first, House Bill 1311, would train law enforcement in missing persons cases. The second, House Bill 1313, would create a data sharing system on missing people, including Indigenous people.
This is the beginning of a movement, and North Dakota could actually be a leader by adopting the language for missing and murdered Indigenous people.
Erica Thunder from North Dakota Indian Affairs Commission testified today that law enforcement had no roadmap for handling cases like Olivia Lone Bear, but these bills would create that framework.
The House Judiciary Committee is considering a bill to allow some criminal records in North Dakota to eventually be sealed. The bill would allow nonviolent and non-sexual offenders who have pleaded guilty or have been found guilty to have their misdemeanors sealed after 3 years and felonies sealed after 5, as long as the person hasn't been charged with a new crime. Sponsors say the intent of the bill is to help people who have cleaned up their lives find jobs and housing.
A company that provides clinical health care via phone is opposed to legislation in North Dakota that would restrict telemedicine services. The bill, supported by the North Dakota Board of Medicine, would require patients to have an initial visit in person with a doctor or using video chat to establish an ongoing treatment plan. The Bismarck Tribune reports Teladoc contends the bill because it would have a chilling effect on rural patients who live too far from a hospital and have no access to broadband internet. Advocates say the legislation would ensure patients can verify they're being treated by a licensed doctor. A Teladoc executive says the company completed 1,500 virtual visits in North Dakota last year, saving corporations and employees in the state more than $700,000 in healthcare costs.
Shocking new statistics in the fight against opioid addiction and overdose deaths. The National Safety Council says for the first time, Americans are more likely to die from an accidental opioid overdose than a car accident. Local experts say it's sad that overdoses are now the #1 preventable cause of death in the country. But fortunately, overdose deaths are going down in our area. In 2018, FM Ambulance says only 66 people were given Narcan, the life-saving overdose drug, compared to 99 people in 2016. Regardless, first responders and addiction counselors agree that the FM area needs to remain focused on combating opioid addiction so we stay ahead of the curve.
New numbers are out. They say some Minnesotans have to work 78 hours a week at minimum wage to afford rent on a 2-bedroom apartment. In Polk County, for example, renters need to make nearly $19 an hour or work 77 hours on minimum wage a week to afford that same apartment.
If somebody's making minimum wage and looking for a $1,000 a month apartment, it's probably not going to work. So that probably wouldn't be affordable.
In North Dakota, to afford a 2-bedroom rental home, a person has to make $16.44 an hour or work 91 hours a week at minimum wage.
If you need help uncovering fraud and corruption in your community, call our whistleblower hotline and we'll do our best to get to the bottom of it. Call 237-6576 and leave your tip. A member of our investigative team will get on the case and go to work to expose the truth.